Mic test. Oh, hot mic. What's going on, y'all? We'll be starting here shortly. Give me about a minute or two. Oh, what's going on, y'all? Happy Friday. It's no noise time. I am Z-Rex. This is No Noise. It is August 25th of 2023. Just before the close of the market, literally 1 or 2 minutes, barely making it in. I'm so sorry I missed Hump Day a couple of days ago. It's just been a little bit crazy a week, and the school's starting, whatever. I'm trying to get better at it. Eventually, I definitely will. But as of right now, wow, look at this. We're getting a little bounce off of a pulse. I just kind of was going down the watch list here, just seeing if there's any big outliers. Definitely a large one there. That's for sure coming back up over this little hump, which you could say this is like a sloppy little H pattern here. So getting back above 500, or wait, 5,000 now? Wait, what? I changed something about the decimals here. They like added one at the end. Okay, well, whatever. 6 something. It was 5 something. Well, now, as long as it's over about that 5, I guess, thousand number it is now. I don't know why they did that. Whatever. Pretty interesting. Good reaction there. Up 42%. Hell yeah. We'll get back on that one here in a second. Just kind of running through the list real fast. Notably, silver actually had a very nice pump continuation, too, off of that 22 base, getting back over 24.20. We'll see if it closes above that here in the next hour. What else? Anything else? TNX and the bonds and stuff ended up stalling out a little bit, kind of double topping over here. Or if you want to look at the bonds, kind of just finding a base. Pretty expected reaction when you come down here and test a real critical low. So far, it bounced off of it. We'll see if next week that continues to play out. And what else do we got? Anything else that's outliers? XRD's been flat as hell. So while crypto's kind of been generally ping-ponging, interesting to see that one just really not doing shite. And I think that's about it real quick. Let's go ahead and start with total market cap. And happy Friday again to you guys. Thanks for being here. Let's see. Vol Flash, total market. Man, there's even Vol Flash on total market cap. I'm not sure if I remember seeing that. That's kind of crazy. Anyway, so what's kind of happening here with price? Let's talk about it. On the daily time frame, we're just seeing price acceptance on the bottom end of this candle. So that's not really super great for the bulls. I mean, it's not breaking down anymore, but it's also just like accepting price sub, especially 28K when we get to Bitcoin here in a second. Is it right on top of all this business and this little swing low? Yeah, it is. Is it a little bit concerning? I would say definitely, because we haven't had any reactions. How many, what has it been, a week now that we've been down here? I think exactly. Yeah, about 7, 8 days. Let's jump over to Bitcoin. Mama Bear. We had a decent candle over here actually on Wednesday. Looked pretty nice. But then immediately just got rejection. So this is more price acceptance on the lows, which is a little bit bearish, especially for the shorter time frames. And you know what we're about to potentially get right here too is a weekly open and close below all these EMAs. We still do have a couple of days, but this definitely doesn't look super sexy. And last week, taking out all these EMAs on one swipe is generally not super great. I think the best case right now for bulls is that we're just coming to attempt to retest this consolidation area, kind of right around here, around 24, 25,000. You can, I mean, we are holding a higher low at this point, so we still technically do have, wait, hold on, you can't even see that at all. Let's brighten that up. What the hell? Let's go to this color, nice and bright and pink. All right, let's try that again. Delete, maybe delete if I can click my buttons correctly here. So we are having, still got a higher high here, higher low, barely higher high, higher low from here to here to here to here. So technically, it's still in an uptrend. It's just kind of like freaking everybody out pretty much. It's kind of like, oh shit, here we are right on the line. Is this going to make it or break it? We do have a doji over here on Tuesday, kind of supporting this little cluster. But ultimately, though, this is just price acceptance on the lows so far. And there really hasn't even been any good attempts for the bulls to do anything. Maybe this little hammer candle on Tuesday, you could argue that that's like decent and a little follow through on it. But again, we just gave it right back up and we're pretty much back in the middle of the range. And if we look at some oscillators, yeah, nothing really. Bulls backing off a little bit. I mean, I'm sorry, Bears backing off a little bit off that 40 run. I will say the one thing, I don't know if I mentioned this on Monday, that I'm looking for to kind of possibly just not think about the bearish action is if we get the DMI to cross back up under 26. That could show that they are losing the momentum and that bulls are going to attempt to run it off like this. And, for an example, let's just go back over here. It kind of consolidated for a while. And then if we go to DMI, let's zoom in on this a little bit. Let's see, it was about like right here. You can see once it starts coming back and gets comfortable underneath 26, the momentum generally wanes pretty hard. Now, that wasn't near as hard of a spike as 42 was. I think the last time that happened was right over here. So let's do a little bit of an analysis on that to kind of just show what I'm looking for. And if we move this up, and we're looking down here on DMI, that's these green and red ones. And you can see this initial spike to 42 was actually this candle, and it ended up doing another little 14% dump. After that, though, it kind of waned out and just went sideways for a really long time. And that cross under 26 is just really important. You can see when it happens here on the 3rd and 4th of December, you can see that that's around here, actually putting in kind of a pretty nice base that the low was respected the rest of the time. So just kind of looking for that to see where the price is when that cross happens. And that should be a pretty decent pivot point, give or take a few percentage points there. So kind of interesting that, we're just sideways and just barely holding on to a higher low. So it looks nasty. There's no doubt about it, but it still technically is in a uptrend. Bears definitely be challenging, though. And the weekly open and close below 21, if that does happen in 2 days, would start to slightly change my tone, like I said on Monday. And if we get 2 open and closes on a weekly below the 21, I'll really start to change my tune for the bulls. Unfortunately, but it is what it is. That's what the chart will say. Now that we don't know if it's going to say that, actually, that was like the wrong phrase. That's what the chart would say if it does paint that candles below the 21 on the weekly, that is, not on the daily. And if we look at the daily, we actually are right in the middle of the 200 and the 21. So this is kind of like the fuckery zone here. And again, it is also showing higher lows, higher highs from the pump out over from late last year. And so we're barely holding on. And the 200 on the futures, 200 MA, oh, excuse me, the 200 MA is actually like right there. So there is decent support here Any more price action, though, a little bit lower, probably losing 25K. It's probably going to at least test 24. And I do think I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a breach into that. One noteworthy thing is we do have a gap right here, too, from about a week ago, from like pretty much the 27,000 handle in its entirety is the gap right now in the futures. Ethereum unicorn shirt, man. What is he doing? Just barely holding on. Oh, so this is something I did yesterday that I noticed. Let me kind of take this off and then just look at the fib chart here. Oh, this is why I removed this, just to not have it so dirty with the drawings on there. But this is interesting to me. I noticed on Ethereum last night is if we pull a fib from this low to this swing high right here, which is pretty much encompassing all this structure from last summer, and we pull the fib and we see there's that major horizontal that we've already had on here for many moons at about 1580ish. One thing that is interesting is the 382 from this formation is just below the 1580. So let's just call it like mid 1500s. And what's interesting is if you're familiar with Fibonacci, when price stays above the 382, that trend is very much intact, like super intact. And so until it really gets below that, it's buy the dip mode. And this works on pretty much most tradables across the board. And we can kind of see this too. If we pull this, you can see it touches it, bounces really hard off of it. Once it gets a couple, this is why open and closes are so important. You can see it breaches it, but immediate rejection by the bulls, no open and closes. And the second you get one open and close, two open and closes, it just sells off more and the momentum is lost for the bulls. And so I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's interesting that we are just floating right above a very critical pivot point. And not only do we have the 382 there, we have that horizontal that's very important. We also have a trend line cross right in the middle, splitting the 382 in this horizontal. So there should be really good support here. And if we get any open and closes, I think below, like 1580-ish, even on lower time frames. Let's actually go ratchet down to some crack time frames. Yeah, we didn't even get close there. How about uber crack time frames? Nope. So you can see here, even on the 3 hour, this nice hammer. So this is definitely reiterating that is major support. And I think even a 2 hour starts to open and close below 1580. This will probably get breached. I wouldn't be surprised to see 1420, 1450, something like that, if that were to happen. But this is a pretty interesting spot for Unicorn Shirt Man to chill at. And is Bitcoin in a similar situation by fib wise? Let's find out. It is. Look at that. And it's actually exactly where 24,000 is. And we mentioned this too, like mega macro. If you're just into reading charts and price action and don't want to use indicators, which a lot of people do, that is kind of the major pivot point would be 24K. If you were just doing a real simple analysis, and this swing low getting taken out too on the higher high, higher low structure of the trend. So it is kind of interesting though that we're both still above the 382. Yeah, it looks bad. Yeah, people are like, what the shit's happening, whatever, but it still hasn't quite beat the structure up. Not quite yet. Needs a little bit more time. All right, moving on. Futures don't really have a gap, but it's really hovering right on top of the 200. You can see we're already coming down pretty hard from the bears. You know what? I'm actually going to throw an alert, I should say. Let's add an alert on the mama. Let's go to, wait, no, that's not what I want. This is not the correct one. No, we want to add an alert on this. There we go. DMI is crossing. Sometimes you have to do some weird stuff on here to get this to work properly. Let me see. Where the hell is it? What if we just do it like this? No, I don't want an alert on the mama. Why is it doing that? Why are you doing that, man? You know what? Let's just go on this horizontal. How about that? ADX D minus crossing down horizontal line. And then we'll change this because that's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. ETH bulls a coming. Yeah, whatever. That's good enough. We'll see. See what happens if that does trigger off. At some point it will. But yeah, interesting though above the 382s. ETC, yeah, just filling the shit out to the exact same price from freaking last summer. Big, bleh, boring. Getting worked by the 21. It's breaching this trend line. I mean, yeah, line in the sand, 1250. It's pretty much range bound, 1250 to like 24. So until it's out of that, with at least a couple weekly open and closes, it's just ping pong mode. XRP is actually finding a little bit of support right on top of its ascending triangle right here. So that's pretty good. Let's see, right on top of the 200 as well. Um, hmm. Oscillators don't look super great. They're definitely in a bearish posturing for sure. That probably won't get negated until we get back above like 57, it looks like. But kind of interesting that, the price is respecting the structure right here, kind of hovering right on this trend line, right on the 200, and looking left right on top of all this business too. So kind of an interesting make it or break it point. Below 48, it starts to look pretty nasty. XLM kind of doing the same thing. It actually bounced off of the structure pretty hard, so that's pretty nice. Above about 11.8, this looks pretty damn good. Or still looks good, I should say. I mean, because it's looked fairly good for a little while. And you can see on the weekly too, we're just retesting this zone right here. So that's not uber bearish. That's actually what we want to see, especially after a really strong pump like this. We want to see a liquidation break to retest structure before continuation, because the more aggressively you go up, the harder that shit falls. All right, let's see. Tron actually looks pretty good. This is a pretty nice move on Tron here. I really like this. Above 7.5. Pretty decent flip here. And look at this. Even on the oscillators, the bull's trying to get it back, and they are getting it. They already have it back on the. Why is that colored? I don't remember adding that in there. Huh, weird. Whatever. You can't see it though on when it's just the small one, only when you blow it up. That's kind of odd. But anyway, that actually is flipping. We're actually about to get the cross too. Oh, we actually did get it today already. So unless this just dumps real hard back below 7.5, the oscillators will start to look pretty good. And this is actually one of the better looking charts, to be fair. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and getting a little follow through. This thing can clear like 7.8. We probably can come test up to the low 8. So one of the better looking charts there. Dots look like shit for a while. Is this a giant like H pattern kind of? Yeah, it definitely could be. We need to have some kind of bull movement though, like really soon, pretty much like in the next handful of days, or it won't be an H anymore. And ultimately, those on the H patterns to confirm that it's not going to be sold off into, it needs to get back above kind of the hump, which would be about 525. To be fair, though, Dot has looked like shit for a long time. ADA is in the same boat as Dot, just pretty shitty, barely holding on. Back below 24, nasty. Back above, oh, excuse me, 30. Yeah, we can start talking then. The Link Marines are getting slapped. Ooh, yesterday's close, kind of nasty. Engulfed the Bulls' attempt to rally from price acceptance for a while, but immediate rejection and getting a little follow through. This is actually a little bit nasty. We lose this little tail over here at 560. Then that next little island down here at $5 flat would be the target. Conversely, really got to clear above 650. So we're pretty much like 5 to 650 until we're above or below one of those. The momentum will just be sideways. EOS just still looks like shit. I mean, we are literally at the apex. We were talking about this on Monday. I mean, it's lit. What is this? Sunday? Yeah. So Sunday by like this coming Monday will be a complete fill of this falling wedge. Silly crypto. But this chart does not. I mean, it hasn't looked good for a long time. So below 55, watch out. It just starts sinking more. Really need to clear above like 63-ish. Let's see here. Bitcoin Cash actually trying to engulf the other way. So, we just looked at a few that were going the opposite way. Definitely needs to regain 210 though. Maybe even 200 flat, nice round number. But 210 is like the technical one. And to be fair, kind of like Tron was in XLM. More so, sorry, XLM, doing that hard pump off these lows. Very nice. This actually looks like a decent re-entry point. Yeah, it didn't come all the way down to retest up here, but so far bulls are defending the 21 and 55 around 180. So that's actually pretty that's actually noteworthy to carry forward. Anything back below like 180-ish, I would look for a retest to the top all the way down here to like 130s. And then once we can clear back above like 210, technically, this thing probably will get continuation. Then ultimately, the test is going to be getting over this 200 moving average, which is right above the top test at about 300. All right, that's about it. BSV sucks. Nothing's happening there. XMR sucks. I mean, it's barely holding on below 130. Nasty. Really needs to get back above 156. Zcash, whatever. Dash, dying. I mean, this thing's just been bleeding out for a long time. Doge is actually just still going sideways. Same price it was freaking a year ago. So that's really cool, right? How fun is that? Losing this swing low at like about 5.5 pennies. Man, if it goes below 5.5, there is really no telling how far that shit could go down. Wait, what the hell? Why does it do that? Oh, you can do log on everything now. Okay, well that's cool, I guess. Anyway, 5.5 below that. Watch out. Really needs to get back above 7. Kind of nasty. Stacks barely holding on. So I mean, everything's kind of the same. We're on these weekly charts. Let's look at the daily. Kind of, yeah, just price acceptance for the most part, with a few outliers, notably XLM and Bitcoin Cash also is on that list too. And XRD is also on that list, just going sideways as hell right now. I mean, as long as it's above 5 cents, it actually looks pretty good. I'm still holding this one until we lose that 5 cent level. TrueFi actually is trying to get going, but look, rejection already at the 55. So then they got a lot of work to do. Giant H pattern, possibly. If it loses 1.5, it looks like shit. Really need to see it back above 1.8. That hasn't changed. Atom is just about to break down below 7 flat. I mean, you can easily open the trap door to like upper 5 handle. And then, below that shit, you got a lot of sideways chop going all the way down to like 250. So if 5 doesn't hold, or like 5.5 doesn't hold, that pretty much opens up any target between, I'd say, about $3 and $4. Osmos looks like total garbage, man. Once it broke 69 back over here, it was just death after that. It went into price discovery mode to the downside, and it has not found its base yet. Ton is trying to actually, so this one looks a little bit better, a little fake out. Is this like an accumulation type pattern, like a Wyckoff? You could argue that this is the spring here coming out with the retest of the spring area, and this actually doesn't look bad above like 130-ish. So that's kind of interesting, doing something a little different. And also the pulse chain is doing something a little bit different too. If it can start stabilizing above that 5K area, this will look pretty damn good. Nice pump over here by Mr. Richard. All right, regular traditional markets, we're finding support on this horizontal. Bears unable to push anything down. Now, they did reject this attempt to get back over this horizontal up here at like 45, which we've been talking about on the stream for a while, even before up here, that if we get under 45, the target is this next horizontal. It didn't fill this gap, which is a little bit surprising. I thought the Bears would be able to do that because it was just literally only 20, 30 points away. They were unable to do so, and bulls are still holding on to this doji. So that is confirming this area is very important at just under 4,400. And let's go to the weekly. Yeah, still above the 21. So, I mean, easily arguable. This is just a liquidation break. Same with NQ. It's really struggling around that 15K level. You can see we got over it. then a quick rejection yesterday. I guess the market didn't like what they heard at Jackson Hole. They're not going to back off rates. I don't know. They've been saying that for fucking the whole damn a year at least. Like we're going for 2%. We're going to keep rates high until then, man. So it is what it is, right? Losing this swing low at like 14,750 gets nasty. Bulls need to get comfy back about 15K on that. Nasty, actually. This is worse. This is one of the worst candles here on the Dow. Breached, not quite an open and close below this horizontal, but it is below all of this action over here. And sub 34.6 is a little bit heavy. But this is that situation where I don't really like to take trades when you're right in the middle of the 200 and the shorter term moving averages. That's just a real tough place to trade, that's for sure. Rudd also just barely holding on, doing another doji with a slight lower tail, but hey, it's still even highs. Thursday's candle does look a little bit nasty, though, to be fair. And today it looks like we will be doing an open and close below the range. So not super sexy there. DAX is just doing the same shit, sideways as hell. What the hell? China keeps selling off. This is interesting. Man, I think that we need to delete this. Let's delete that, and we can delete this too. We don't really need those. Little support right here, like 3,000-ish flat. Below that, man. Ooh, man, watch out. VIX is getting smashed on, and now VVIX as well. Look at this. VVIX got totally smashed on. I mean, brutal move. We were talking about that on Monday. If we get like open and close below 100, usually the VIX fades really hard. Surprisingly, though, the market has not really rallied that hard, so that's a little bit confusing off that behavior, because you would expect, seeing this vol collapse, that we would be rallying a little bit more. But sometimes VIX has been acting a little bit weird the last year, so with the 0-day expiration stuff, I think it's kind of messing with the formula, because they usually go, what is it, like 20 days and like 35 days out or something. I can't remember exactly, but all right. So yeah, that's good there. Don't need to talk about that anymore. This is interesting if it gets back over 80, but like we talked about Monday, just struggling below 80 is kind of whatever. That 77 to 80 handle is just the range for now. Nat gas is actually almost making a lower low, but look at this, a nice hammer off of the trend line. So we very well could be basing one more time for another shot up to, I would say if this base is here, we're probably looking at 325 as the target, or maybe a little lower if the 200 gets worked over the next few days or next week or so. It'll probably be like at 3 teens. So, but yeah, that's kind of the target, is like 320-ish, give or take 10 cents. If this is the base, and what will negate that is any price action below this 245 area. Bonds are still just, man, look at this, right on the megaphone pattern, right on the line, bounced pretty hard too. But still, this is really implying watch out, rates are going to stay higher. Now, it was interesting that they stopped right here on these lows, so let's see what if next week we breach back below 117 and change. Notes are pretty much going to show the same thing. Wow, the dollar is trying to break out again over 104.50. Probably gets us to 105.50, and then we'll reassess after that. Anything back below 103 flat, I would start to question that trend. And with rates going up and continued to go up, this probably has some strength in it left. TNX, you can see that's going to be inverse of bonds, so whatever there. There is some stuff to talk about on silver. Silver, very nice rally off of this base, this trend line cross. We're back above the 200. We're back above all the moving averages. This is a pretty good reaction for silver, and I would say as long as we're holding above about that 24.20 area, it looks pretty good. Let's go to a weekly. Yeah, very nice weekly, cutting all the EMAs back up. If this closes like this, which it probably will, because there's only 30 minutes left and it's Friday, so I don't see the price really going anywhere anymore for the rest of the day. This is actually a pretty good reaction for the bulls, and I would be pretty bullish on silver. Really, you could even ratchet down to about like 23.80 or so. Palladium, yeah, it's rallying. It's up to 950. You already know that's mega resistance right now. Really got to clear 950 on platinum. Palladium just accepting, still range bound, 1200 to 1330 till it gets out of there. It's just range mode. All right, let's see. Let's go over to blockchain stuff because I want to pull up our miner index. It's also still sideways, not breaking down, just kind of chilling. What's Core's doing? Core's is trying to hold on, but this is a very dangerous place, in my opinion. Below 62, easy can go to 40s, and then above like 75, it could easily go to like 100. So this is in a very precarious spot here. Be cautious with that if you are trading it. One thing that's interesting here on some of the majors, this is really starting to look like distribution, especially if bulls can't get back over 335. If they do get back over 335, I think this bitch will make new highs if that were to happen. AMD, Disney selling off a little bit, but are actually a lot of it kind of breaching structure here. Got to open and close. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, I mean, it's like right in this little make it or break it zone. Let's see if the Bulls can defend this next week. There is no momentum really on the Bears weekly, which is kind of surprising. And they barely just got it today. Barely, dad joke. A little bit starting to look a little distribution-y here too. There's one that looked really nasty. What was it? Was it NVIDIA? Well, NVIDIA's right back up over this little magenta candle here at about 450. So above 440, 450, it looks okay. But, man, there is nasty divergence, though. There is bearish divergence from here to here to here to here. It's like 4 stabs of bearish divergence. It's a little bit cautious. And there's mega resistance at 550. I wouldn't be caught holding this long right now. No way, man. I would want to see it at least clear this 500 level, this little attempt that we had, looks like yesterday. And it was kind of like a pump dump candle there too. So, man, what was this other chart I was looking at earlier that was kind of like, what the hell? Oh, it was Goodyear, just for shits and giggles. On a 3-month chart, look at this. In 20,363 days, you're up 3.8%. This is the most sideways chart I've probably seen of something that came out, freaking 60 years ago or whatever. Pretty wild. Yeah. Hopefully the dividends were decent on this, but just kind of crazy. I was just fanning through some of the auto stocks and saw that and was like, wow, dude, how pissed are you if you held this for that long and you're only up less than 5%? Obviously you lost on that if through inflation or whatever. So that was just something that was kind of interesting. Other than that, man, I think that's probably it. We got some trash rallying. We got the let's actually jump over to the monthly on the majors real fast, and then we're going to sign off. We can throw Bitcoin in there too. So monthly really needs to hold that 26K level. Hey, what's up, Casey Lewis? How you doing, man? Looks kind of nasty though, closing below. Or I mean, I guess there's still a week left, but if it did close below 27.4, that would look kind of gross. That's for sure. And jumping over to the majors, the monthly, yeah, that could be an engulfing on the monthly. We'll see if that prints up next week. I believe should be Thursday or something. Yeah, Thursday is the last day. Engulfing there too. So definitely some threatening price action this month. So next week will be very important as the month closes out. Let's see, what do you got? Target action. Okay, let's go look at Target. Good old Target. The Walmart for the hot chicks. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. Short entry 120. Dang. Well, that's pretty nasty. It's a pretty nasty chart, to be fair. It looks like, damn, they even did. Oh, they missed barely. Oh, what the hell? Oh, this does look pretty bearish below 126. I'll agree with you there. What's your stop loss at 120? Yeah, okay. I definitely am down with that. A big gap, though, right here from 200 to like 170. Holy shit. So someday that will get filled, and this will be a really good long trade. But let's zoom out a little bit. What's your target? You said 114, 114. So, yeah, that's not bad. I mean, getting a little price action, a little test into here, that seems very reasonable. Um, I will say that this will probably snap back pretty hard at some point, just because you got the weekly 200 is still sloped up. So I would not be surprised uh, in 1 week out of kind of nowhere this thing to kind of reverse and get back into this range. But I think with 126 ish, where you have the stop, I think that's very reasonable short entry right there. An AMC. Oh my God. Oh, they split it? Would they double split it? Wait, what? A split 1 to 10 and 17-15. Wait, what? Why would they do double splits like that? That's weird. This is wow. What the hell happened? AMC. I haven't even heard that this was a thing just in the last week and a half. It's down 70%. Whoa, dude. Whoa, this week. Whoa, that is literally almost just this week. That is brutal. That is brutal, man. What's he got? Short entry at 12.25 stop loss, target of 10. Yeah, that's ballsy. I wouldn't play this short right here. This is way too aggressive for me to short at the bottom end of this range. But I mean, as long as you just stick with your short, I'm sorry, your stop loss. Yeah, it could be a decent trade just to 10. I mean, it's not too much further. It's got this little swing low here. Oh my goodness, I did not sleep very good last night. So I don't like this one as much. I think this one's a lot higher risk because you can't get more vertical than this right here. So, and then with all the splits, it's kind of a bunch of funky shit going on around this one. To be fair though, look at all these vol flashes. Pretty much for 2 months before that happened, it was warning like, watch the hell out. I will say if you get vol flashes and then you have magenta candles in there, those magenta candles don't play. But yeah, I don't like this one as much as the target one. I think the target one is a pretty solid one. All right, so bitty bits, just kind of keep making this higher low, stay above these 382s, and it can be still okay for the bulls. You start breaching those, watch a lay, and it will not be good. Bit O is actually I'm sorry, GBDC is actually in the weirdest posturing. Look at this. It's actually way above. I mean, this chart looks super healthy relative to like the other Bitcoin charts. I mean, this is perfect sine waves right here. It's kind of interesting that GBDC looks so much better than like spot price and stuff. And there has been a couple times where GBDC has called out bullshit. Like back here, it didn't make a new high when Bitcoin hit 69,000 and never even made. I mean, it made a lower high and sold off. And it's done this a few times in the past. We've mentioned this on the GBDC chart. That's the only reason I kind of like to look at it. I don't like grayscale and pretty much any of those fucks that work with DGC and all that. So, but anyway, interesting that this is actually atop all of the business from April. When if you go over here on spot, we're actually below it. So GBDC is kind of signing that this is definitely just liquidation break, and we're still very much in an upward trend. You can kind of see a little sloppy trend line, something like that. All right, I think that's it, guys. Much love. I will see y'all on Monday. Again, sorry about missing Wednesday. Just I'm trying to get really consistent with that. Just juggling a few different transitions from my business to a new venture and some other things. So sometimes it happens. I will get 100% consistent though, and that's my goal for by the end of the year to have that accomplished. So again, apologies for that, but no worries. We got the weekly wrap up for Friday. I hope you all have an awesome, super great weekend, and a great rest of your Friday. Go have some fun, do your thing. Let's rejoice on Monday morning to talk about the weekly close on Bitcoin to see if it was able to not close below this swing low. Now, it does look like it is going to close below the 21, but hey, you never know. We've seen crazier shit, and really all Bitcoin would have to do is go up like 5% to negate that. So we know that that's not that crazy in crypto. 5% is pretty small number, but we are right on the cusp. Let's stay above these 382s on Unicorn Shirt Man and Mama Bear, and kind of go from there and see if we get this weekly open and close below the 21 for the first time since the trend changed. If that is to happen and were to happen, that'll be the first signal. And if next week also does that, then we can really start talking about regime changes and getting into more bearish posturing. So that's getting a little ahead of ourselves. So that's still, 10 days away. Let's take it easy. Let's enjoy the weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Have a good one. This has been Z Rex with no noise. Peace.